So now that the Switch 2 has been officially announced and officially revealed, I think it's going to definitely change the game of Pokemon going into the future. So Legends ZA is coming out super soon. Like, it's coming out within the next couple of months. We don't have the official release date yet. However, I think the next Pokemon Presents, which is going to be Pokemon Day 2025, which is at the end of February, that's only about a month away. We're pretty much right around the corner from that, and I'm assuming they're going to give us a good trailer and then give us the release date or planned release date, I guess, for Legends ZA. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed, which I don't think this game is getting delayed again. Apparently it was delayed like behind the scenes. Like, they initially wanted this game to come out in 2024, but it just never happened and it got delayed, probably because of the Switch 2, honestly. And now it's coming out this year, which I think is fine. They just need to work on these games for as long as they need. Like, there's no rush, really. We want better Pokemon games, which I think Game Freak and Nintendo know. I think that they are aware of that the fans and audience, we want better Pokemon games. But going on in the future with the titles after Legends ZA, I think there's a lot to look forward to. Subscribe to the channel right now, guys. We're on the road to 15K subscribers. We're getting so close. My goal is to hit it by like mid-February. I know it's kind of a stretch, but I think it'd be so sick to be at 15K. It's going to be the next big milestone for us. And if you want to further support the channel, I have channel memberships turned on, where you just kind of get like behind the scenes footage or exclusive footage and stuff like that. No pressure though. I'm always going to make some free and good content for you guys. And I also have some things in the works for the future, which hopefully I can announce really soon, because I'm kind of excited about it and I hope that you guys are as well. But yeah, with that being said, comment down 5 mega evolutions you want to see in Legends ZA. I love talking with you guys and I love seeing you guys episode. So obviously a brand new console means we're getting better quality games, I guess you could say, like graphics wise, bigger map, just more advanced games, I guess. So obviously the future of Pokemon is going to get a little bit better with the graphics, I hope, and bigger maps. I'm assuming that the maps are probably going to be really big. In my opinion, Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, they felt small, I guess. Like, the maps just didn't really feel that big to me, especially if you have played Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a huge map, which low-key contradicts what I'm literally saying, because Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U, and it was like a launch Switch game, and the Pokemon games that came after that had a smaller map. But, however, I think it's different because Pokemon is a different title, and there's a lot of different things within a Pokemon map, which also limited some of the other stuff that we could have had in the Pokemon games, like all of the Pokemon that spawn in and all the NPCs and stuff. Like, there's a lot that come with the Pokemon game, which is probably why some of the maps felt a little small at some time. Which I'm going to get to some of that in a little bit. I just wanted to touch base on that about like the graphics and stuff. And the Switch 1 was super experimental as far as Pokemon games go. In my opinion, every single Pokemon game that we had on the Switch was so different than the last. We had the Let's Go games, which was kind of like a new twist on a remake. You know, it was a Gen 1 remake, which we already had. So it was another Gen 1 remake, which was pretty cool. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Let's Go games. However, I don't think that they were terrible. I just think that it wasn't exciting, because I think we all wanted like a new Pokemon game, like a new generation or something like that. So I think that's kind of why those games weren't received the best. I feel like if they waited a few years, it probably would have been received better by the fans. But every single game was just so different from the last. You know, like Sword and Shield are so unlike any other Pokemon game, especially with the graphics. Legends Arceus also was obviously a brand new title to the Pokemon franchise as a whole, and is totally different, which I think they hit it out of the park with the Legends franchise, or series, I mean. And I think that the future Legends games are going to be super good, and I definitely think we're getting another Legends game on the Switch 2 in a couple of years. The reason I say that is because we all thought that the Legends series was kind of like a one-off thing. Like, I was like, yeah, they may bring us another Legends game in a long time, but I thought Legends Arceus was kind of like a one-time thing. But then we got the announcement of Legends ZA, which is so hype, and I'm so excited to play that game. It's definitely coming out in a couple of months. I can't wait. And obviously, I think Pokemon and Game Freak and, you know, Nintendo, I think they want to go down the route of more open world, bigger Pokemon games, which we kind of can see them progressing through that with like the Switch games. Sword and Shield had like a little bit of open world areas. It was still kind of like a linear, you know, Pokemon game, but it had a little bit of open world. And then Scarlet and Violet were totally open world. Legends Arceus was pretty much open world. A lot of people say, no, it's not. It was open world, even though you had to like unlock parts of the map. it's still open world. I think that they want to be open world. Like, I think they want more games to be in just the wilderness where you can explore. However, Legends EA is a little different because it's in the city, which that's a huge hating point right there, and I'm excited to see how they pull that off. However, I'm pretty sure there was some sort of like interview that I saw years ago. I wish I could find it. I've looked everywhere for this. I can't find it. I just have a memory of it. It was some sort of person high up at Game Freak or the Pokemon Company or Nintendo or something like that, and they're basically explaining how they've always wanted the games to be like open world. However, they just never had the technology, even though that's crazy to think because the like original couple generations of Pokemon games were so good with just like the OG style of Pokemon, like how it's, you know, linear, you go from here to here, you go down these routes, and it wasn't open world. Those games are just so good, and I have a theory about that one day. I'm going to make a video about it eventually. I want to save it though, but I have a theory about those original style Pokemon games and how they could come back in the future. But it looks like Pokemon wants to be open world, so Generation 10 is probably going to be an open world game. And Generation 10 also had some leaks, which it's so early for Pokemon Generation 10 leaks because we're still, I would say minimum like a year and a half away from that game being released, maybe 2 years, who knows. But there were some leaks about it having like floating islands, which I'm like, that kind of reminds me of Tears of the Kingdom. So maybe the map is going to be way bigger and it's going to be more like Breath of the Wild, which I think is like the biggest comparison that people always, you know, give is between Pokemon, modern day Pokemon, and Breath of the Wild. How the Breath of the Wild map is huge and it's pretty good looking compared to like Scarlet and Violet graphics. And I honestly think that the Switch 2 is going to hold some pretty good Pokemon games. So I definitely think we're getting Generation 10 on the Switch 2. However, there were leaks and rumors of Gen 10 also being released on the Switch 1, which I think would be great. There are going to be a lot of people that don't have a Switch 2 and that won't get a Switch 2 for a couple of years. So if Gen 10 is released on the Switch 1 as well as the Switch 2, I think that's a great thing. But I think if Generation 10 does come out on the Switch 1 and 2, it's probably the last Pokemon game to ever come out on the Switch. I don't think that they would plan any other future Pokemon games for the Switch. I think anything that comes after Gen 10 is probably going to be a Switch 2 exclusive. I definitely think that Black and White remakes are going to be on the Switch 2 or Black and White 3. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't necessarily think Black and White 3 is ever going to happen, but you never know because so many fans want Black and White 3 that Game Freak may just be like, well, why not? Let's drop a third Pokemon game in one, you know, generation or one series, I guess. Or it could be a Legends game based around Black and White in the Unova region. That would be pretty sick as well. I feel like it's probably most likely going to be Black and White remakes just because Generation 5 is the next in line for remakes. And it would make sense, obviously, for it to be on the Switch 2. It's the next Nintendo console, so why not? You know, there was also another leak or rumor, whatever you want to call it, about how there's a unannounced Pokemon game that was not in the Terra leak that is not related to Legends EA and that's not related to Generation 10 of Pokemon, and it's some sort of like mainline Pokemon game, which I don't know what it could be. My theory is it's probably another sort of like spin-off, just like how Legends is kind of a spin-off of like the mainline Generation games. I think this could be some sort of game that's like a Legends game, but it's obviously not going to be titled Legends because it's not related to the Legends series. It's not related to Generation 10. It could be another Let's Go game. I don't know. There wasn't really any info about it. It's probably not Let's Go game. However, moving on, I do think we're probably going to get another Let's Go game one day. I feel like we could definitely get a Let's Go Generation 2 game, which, just being straight up honest, I kind of hope not. But I definitely just envision that. I feel like a lot of people think so as well. I mean, if they did it well, and if they made it like how Heart Gold, Soul Silver are, then yes, I definitely want it. But if it's exactly like how Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu are, I don't think I'd really be that excited for it. It would be cool. It definitely would be cool. Don't get me wrong, especially to see Generation 2 in some like modern day graphics. But Heart Gold, Soul Silver are like the best, debatably the best Pokemon games ever made. So they would really have to set the bar extremely high. You know what I mean? Like the bar is way up there. And then also on the Switch 2, I think we're probably going to get another Legends game. I feel like it's probably a couple of years away. I don't think we'd get another Legends game for like minimum 3 to 4 years. Like, I'm talking about maybe like 2028, maybe 2029-ish. The Switch 2 is probably going to be around until about 32, which is insane to think about. I don't even want to think about the 2030s. The Switch 1 is definitely still, like, not dead. Like, the Switch 1 is going to be going on for some time now. But with that being said, they're going to have to drop it sometime and give the Switch 2 all exclusive games. And Pokemon is selling better now than ever before. Modern day Pokemon games are selling like way more than they did back, with the OG games, which kind of makes sense. We have all the people that grew up with the original Pokemon games. Those people are having kids now, and they want their kids to share their love for Pokemon, so they're buying 2 copies of Pokemon games, one for them, one for their kids. And, Pokemon is huge. It's just a huge franchise. So I also think that Game Freak and Nintendo and the Pokemon Company understand that. I think they're going to lock in. I know I might be sounding so optimistic about this. I just really have high and good faith that they're going to make some really good Pokemon games going on in the future. And now they may not hit it out of the park with Legends ZA. Legends ZA could totally be kind of a flop. However, I'm excited to see how it is. It's an experimental Pokemon game. It's unlike any other game we've ever seen because it's taking place in the city. We're also going back to Gen 6, which is great. I think Generation 6 is so fun. X and Y are great games. If you have never played Pokemon X and Y, I definitely recommend you buy them. They're super, super fun. But if there are any other Pokemon games that you think are going to be on the Switch 2, leave a comment down below. The Pokemon Company, Nintendo and Game Freak could always just like blindside us and give us a game that we never expected, which I think is probably what they're going to do with that unannounced game. Legends ZA to me was totally unexpected. I was not expecting this game at all, and when they released it when they announced it last year, my jaw was like just dropped. I could not believe it. I was like, no way they just gave us, no way they're giving us another Generation 6 game. That's not what anyone thought. Everyone thought we were going to get a black and white Legends game. Like, everyone was convinced. And now the next Legends game, like I said, I don't necessarily think it's going to be black and white or Generation 5 based. I think we're going to get the black and white remakes. And the next Legends game could be anything. A lot of people are thinking like Generation 8, which honestly I would kind of enjoy. Low-key, I think that would be kind of cool. I don't really necessarily have a preference as to what the next Legends game I would want to see would be, but let me know down in the comments, what would you want to see for a future Legends game? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to make this one a little bit longer. I typically record like 12 minutes of footage, and then I usually just cut a lot of stuff out, and then it usually ends up about like 8 to 10 minutes, but I kind of want to start making a little bit longer of videos, so let me know if you like the longer videos or not, and let me know if you're even watching at this point. If you're a real one and you're watching at this point, comment down below Pokemon 2030. Just say Pokemon 2030 if you're watching this far in the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Peace.